Honorable Member of the European Parliament, Director General Hololai, and all the directors and representatives from the Commission, from EU agencies and partner organizations, chairs and representatives from EMSA, EFCA, and Frontex governing and management boards, ambassadors and representatives of the EU member states in Lisbon, dear Marco, dear Pascal, ladies and gentlemen. It is also my pleasure today, on behalf of the European Border and Coast Guard Agency, to participate in this conference and to thank warmly EMSA colleagues for their hospitality and perfect organization. This is the second major Coast Guard event which the three agencies are organizing together since the entry into force of the agency's reinforced mandate in October last year. We started in November last year in Warsaw with a meeting of the European Coast Guard Cooperation Network, followed today in Lisbon by the EU Coast Guard Pilot Closing Conference, and we will surely meet in Vigo next year for our next annual major EU Coast Guard event. We, the three agencies, absolutely need the full support from our governance bodies and also from EU policymakers to be able to jointly deliver in implementing Coast Guard functions. In this sense, I warmly welcome the presence of Mr. Pabriks, Member of the European Parliament and Rapporteur for the European Border and Coast Guard Regulation, as well as the presence of Director General Hololai and other representatives from the EU member states and agencies, board members, and also the presence of the Executive Director of Satellite Center, which plays a role in this regard. The fact that we have here today members and representatives, and even chairs, from the boards of the three agencies sitting together for the first time sends a strong signal on the development of the European cooperation on Coast Guard functions. This demonstrates that the three agencies are not only engaging at operational level, we will come back to this later today, but also at institutional and strategic level. In a couple of weeks, Marco, Pascal, and I will meet again in Vigo to discuss and agree on our first annual strategic plan for 2018, as foreseen in the tripartite working arrangement concluded in March this year. The common annual strategic plan will become part of the agency's annual work programs and single programming documents to be adopted by the three management boards or governing boards. Hence, this is another good example of engagement at institutional and strategic level. Our new legal mandate for Coast Guard functions and the tripartite working arrangement derived from it is also complemented by an increasing number of service-level agreements signed between the agencies. These legal and financial instruments define the scope of the provision of services and financial conditions attached to them, always in dynamic of supporting and supported agency, which must be the general rule. Today we will review later on what was achieved during the last 12 months during this pilot project. And we will have to recognize that it would not have been possible without building upon an already excellent level of contacts and cooperation between the three agencies. Indeed, we were not starting from scratch. Our approach was very simple. Look at what we were doing already and see how this could be developed further and enhanced in the light of the new mandate that the EU legislator has given us. I must emphasize that all these activities have been implemented by using mainly existing and limited staff available in the agencies this year. Therefore, I want to express all my appreciation to the colleagues in the 3 agencies for all the excellent work done. I can neither be comprehensive nor conclusive when mentioning all what was achieved, given that the final reports for each of the tasks are still in the making. But let me make some remarks which perfectly align and complete the statements made by my predecessors. When it comes to task 1, information sharing, we definitely had a solid basis to build upon, namely the EMSA various services, information products and tools, including satellite imagery and maritime traffic information, which were tailored to meet Frontex needs for supporting the Member States' border control activities. This EMSA support package, which also includes FK-VMS data, has become integral part of what we denominate the Eurosur Fusion Service. And we have experienced this year a record high number of requests for activation of vessel detection service, an example of EMSA service, in all 3 major operational theaters, from the Black Sea region through the Mediterranean to the Atlantic coast. Information sharing comes closely together with the implementation of Task 2, Maritime Surveillance Services. The 3 of us are making here a strong innovation effort based on the 3 main components, using state-of-the-art technology for development of new capabilities, applying a new concept for operations, engaging various EU agencies and national authorities, ensuring multi-purpose use of the service capabilities. Frontex has tested this new concept with FK and Italian authorities in the so-called multi-purpose aerial service project, which will be presented later today. And another component is developing new approaches on procurement, allowing the use of the services by different agencies and building also a stronger relationship with our commercial partners. Our effort was concentrated on airborne capabilities, namely fixed-wing aircrafts and RPAs by EMSA, with the objective to fuse the information and data streams obtained from both types of platforms into our existing information systems and command and control structures. The next step will be to seamlessly integrate these aerial surveillance means into our maritime operations, complementing our seaborne surveillance capabilities. We are also boosting our seaborne capabilities by ensuring long-term deployment of government-owned vessels equipped with multinational crews, having the necessary range of expertise to be engaged in multi-purpose missions. Multi-purpose maritime operations, that means task number 4, has been already part of Frontex strategy. But thanks to the close partnership with FK and the reinforced Coast Guard mandate that helped both agencies to reach together an unprecedented new level. The concrete results will be presented later, but let me advance to you that the concept of multi-purpose operation has been fully validated thanks to our activities during this pilot. In practical terms, this means that we were able to use the surveillance systems and effectively exchange information such as presumed illegal fishing sightings with FK. We have been providing joint training and debriefings for relevant crew members, elaborated standard operating procedures, and developed best practices which can be promoted in the future. This leads me to task number 3, capacity building, where the 3 agencies have been able to pool expertise, best practices, and training products for preparing the outline of the guidelines on inter-EU agencies cooperation as main deliverable. These guidelines are the embryo of the practical handbook on European cooperation on Coast Guard functions, which the Commission is expected to adopt. The 3 agencies working together have a large potential as capacity building actor, not only for the EU member states, but also for our non-EU partners. Future work in this field will take into account, or even, where possible, integrate the valuable activities and projects implemented in the framework of the European Coast Guard Functions Forum. A comprehensive analysis of challenges and risks in the maritime domain goes beyond the area of responsibility of Frontex and involves aspects that are covered either by EMSA or by EFCA, and we will have to work further on that in the future. As a conclusion, according to what I understood from EU policymakers, the EU Coast Guard pilot project was supposed to be mainly a proof of concept for the proposed new mandate for the 3 EU maritime agencies. If this is indeed the case, then one can strongly state that the proof of concept has been fully validated. I hope that you will also be able to conclude after today's closing conference that, in fact, we are just at the opening phase and starting to grasp all the potential that the 3 agencies have when working together. Our combined
Your opinion on the progress of interagency cooperation on Coast Guard functions between Frontex, EFCA and EMSA, please?
I think that the pilot project has been a good success, and it has also shown how much additional value can be achieved when the agencies work closely together and bring in the areas of expertise where they have the largest competence. And the pilot... Whoops!
Oh, I'm so sorry.
No,
oh,
no.
Jesus.
Okay.
If I'm behind it?
Yes, you can be behind it. That's fine.
Okay.
Sorry about this.
No, you can cut it off afterwards, yeah?
Yes.
I believe that the nature of the pilot project is really to try to show that the concept of European Coast Guard functions is and can be a very successful concept. It is something where the Council and the Parliament have decided that Europe needs to move on, and the pilot project has proved that Europe not only will move on, it can also very successfully do that. Interagency cooperation is also essential. We have a lot of agencies which are concentrating on their own area, but the real value added can be brought if the different agencies are working together. In DG Move, we have 3 very important safety agencies, for example, EMSA, EASA and ERA, and we also do a lot in order to make them work together, because there are many issues of horizontal nature where the experiences one agency has can be very useful for the other. Here, in this context, we have seen EMSA, Frontex and the EFCA working together, and this has also proved to be a good success. It also gives much more interaction between the agencies and also gives the possibility to learn from each other. So that's why I believe that pilot has done 2 good things. First of all, it has shown that the European Coast Guard function is something where the European value added can be achieved, and secondly, it has also made the agencies work even more closer together and bring the benefits to Europe, to its citizens and also its businesses.
Perfect.
I mean, in politics there's enough women too. So I think we are becoming feminine in politics. So should I start to talk? Where should I look?
You look at me.
At you? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Observing this workshop, I'm happy to say that I will bring back a very, very positive message to European Parliament, that all 3 agencies are working very well together. There's good progress of cooperation, and there is no fear that somebody is intruding in each other's affairs. The outcome of this meeting is definitely a more safe European borders and more... Okay.
Sorry.
Can you keep silent,
Sorry.
please? Just silent.
Okay, let's try once more. From the beginning, okay?
Yes.
I'm happy to bring back a message to European Parliament that all agencies are working very well here.
Apologies.
Can you maybe you close the door, shoot them. That's it.
Ladies.
Otherwise, I will really talk long.
All those women.
Okay, can I start? No, let's try.
Yeah.
I'm happy to bring back a message to European Parliament from this workshop that all three agencies are cooperating very well. The level of cooperation is deep, there is much more practical issues discussed, and it definitely will increase the security of our outside borders and cooperation between agencies and member states, including many matters. I think this is one of the examples where we can show that European Union works in practice. That's it.
Done. You're free. You've done this
Before somebody is shooting something. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Arigato.
Have a good day.
Sorry. I didn't expect that.
So,
It's rolling.
So I'm very happy to be here in EMSA in Lisbon for celebrating the outcome of the pilot project on the EU Coast Guard undertaking. It has been a good way of improving the cooperation among the three agencies in support of the member state authority in charge of Coast Guard and to some extent border control. We have divided the task into 4 areas. The most important for EFCA, the European Fishery Control Agency, has been the delivery of the outline of guidelines for a sectoral qualification framework for Coast Guard. And the second very important task was the cooperation with Frontex and EMSA as well in the framework of sharing capacity. So developing some joint operation with patrol vessel and aircraft in the Mediterranean Sea. The action has been very intensive in 2016 and beginning of 2017, and on a FK perspective, it has been a way of improving our information intelligence and dealing with cases of illegal fishing in the Mediterranean Sea.
C'est parfait.
Merci.
Merci, monsieur.
Thank you so much.
Thank you to you.
so we're done?
No, we have one more.
One more?
On the outcome of the project, as well as how this project has contributed to enhancing the cooperation between the 3 agencies in the area of Coast Guard cooperation.
Well, this pilot project gave the possibility to the 3 agencies, so EMSA, EFCA and Frontex, to work together and to go very in detail in the operational business. So we were now...
Oui, et je vous demandais, en plus de ça, excusez-moi de vous mettre dans l'IR, mais là, le soleil est juste vous et j'ai juste le bout de votre nez et votre front qui est éclairé. Là, c'est parfait.
D'accord, d'accord. Well, this pilot project was a very challenging project, but it was extremely successful. It brought together operational people from the 3 agencies, from EMSA, EFCA, Frontex. We were able to test, for instance, multi-purpose patrolling activities in the context of Frontex operations, together with a fisheries inspector on board. We were also able to test our ability to report to EMSA cases of pollution at sea. I think this paves the way for a more integrated border management from my perspective, from the perspective of Frontex. But I'm quite sure that from the perspective of the other partners agencies, EMSA and EFCA, this can pave the way to strengthen maritime surveillance, law enforcement at sea, and this is how we are building gradually an EU Coast Guard.
Perfect. Cooperate with the tug owners in case
Okay.
of emergencies.
Yeah, that is
so I
good.
will not
Okay.
cover it in your
Yeah,
speech.
so that we don't duplicate.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Ready to go?
And it's rolling.
Okay. European Coast Guard Function pilot project has come to an end. We have been collaborating with EMSA, EFCA and Frontex intensively for the 9 months period, and it's clearly shown the added value and need for collaboration also in the future.
Okay, let's do it another time. But you're gonna. Is that okay?
Yeah, yeah,
A
yeah.
little bit. I mean, like, yeah. So we don't have the
Yeah.
too much the sun, because you see you're too tall.
Yeah.
So let me redo this. I want this nice logo from ENSA somewhere in the picture, and I have a nice
European Coast Guard Function pilot project has been up and running for the 9 months, and now we have a concluding event which clearly has demonstrated the need for collaboration and how it brings added value to the three agencies and to the stakeholders.